Let's stay with the issues affecting the president, and President Cyril Ramaphosa has 90 days to appoint a new National Prosecuting Authority boss. This after the country's highest court yesterday found former NPA head Mxolisi Nxasana's removal was unconstitutional. It also found Shaun Abrams' subsequent appointment was also unconstitutional. Well, several names have been touted to replace Abrams then, but just who is going to be picked to sort out the troubled prosecuting body? Well, Presidency spokesperson Kusela Digo is on the line for us. Kusela, good morning to you. Can you confirm if indeed the office of the president will announce an acting NDPP today?
Lupolo, good morning. Thank you so much for inviting us, and allow me to greet your viewers as well. Indeed, we can confirm that the president has stated his intention that he would wish to appoint an acting national director of prosecutions and perhaps make that announcement today. The president has said, and I mean he's on record having said it in the State of the Nation address as well, that it is imperative that we restore as speedily as possible the credibility, the integrity, as well as the stability of leadership at the National Prosecuting Authority. So the president has also said that the 90 days that he has been given by the Constitutional Court, he intends to meet to ensure that indeed a permanent National Director of Public Prosecutions is appointed. So,
Kusela, today, the president, what you are telling us is that for certain he will announce an appointment of an acting NDPP. Might he choose, therefore, from the four existing deputy directors who are at the NPA right now?
Well, the National Prosecutors Act, the NPA Act, stipulates the manner in which an acting National Director of Prosecutions is appointed. It says that in consultation with the minister, the president must choose between the Deputy National Director of Prosecutions. And as we know, there are four deputy NDPPs, being advocates Mxolisi being Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa, being advocate Mohadle, as well as advocate Venemeya. So indeed, it is from the ranks of those Deputy National Director of Prosecutions that the president will appoint. The process is different, obviously, only for the appointment of the permanent NDPP. It is the prerogative of the president in line with the Constitution and the NPA Act, and in that case, he is not constrained to the existing deputy NDPPs.
Is it fair to say that Mxolisi is out of the running, given the current situation that she is going through?
Well, I wouldn't want to preempt the president's decision as it relates to who he may select in terms of an acting NDPP, but I also don't want us to cast aspersions on Advocate Jiba. The reason I say this is that the president has written to Advocate Jiba and Advocate Mxolisi, indicating his intention to institute an inquiry into their fitness to hold office and asking them to give him reasons why they should not be suspended pending that inquiry. But at this point, except for the remarks that have been made about them in various court cases, such has not been ventilated, such has not been finalized. So at this point, we would be totally wrong to say that Advocate Jiba, for example, is not a fit and proper person as the Constitution demands for somebody to hold that position. So perhaps without casting aspersions, let's leave it to say that the president will have to choose from the existing deputy NDPPs.
Kusela, I'll take a chance here. Is Cyril Ramaphosa possibly the person who's going to be announced today?
Well, he's definitely one of the four, and you know that, there's various preferences. And in another show this morning, somebody else was pushing for Advocate Veli Hofmeyer. I think the president is spoiled for choice, while we know that there are problems within the National Prosecuting Authority. And he himself has been on record saying that it's important that we stabilize that institution. There are men and women in that institution who have years of experience in those positions, and we are confident that they will at least assist us to stabilize it before the president appoints a permanent NDPP.
As far as the appointment of a permanent candidate is concerned, Kusela, is it fair to rule out Advocate Vusi Pikoli, given his age?
Well, I'm told, Lukolo, that Advocate Sikoli himself has gone on social media to indicate that he would not be interested in the position of the NDPP. I would be lying if I could speak to the issues of age right now, but I know that there has been an issue in the NPA before. But the main issue around the appointment of the NDPP is that it is the president's discretion. What the NPA, as well as the Constitution, what the NPA Act calls for in particular is that it must be a person with the necessary qualifications that allows them to practice in any court of law in the Republic. And then secondly, that they must be fit and proper persons whose integrity is unquestionable. So I'm sure that the president will then be assessing these options based on the above directives.
Just finally, Ms. Digo, is it possible for you to tell us who the president has had an audience with in as far as the appointment of a permanent NDPP is concerned?
Well, I don't have any information at this stage that indicates that the president has been in consultations around the appointment of a permanent NDPP. I do know, though, that the president has consulted Minister Masuta, as is required by the NPA Act, for the appointment of an acting NDPP.
All right, Khusela Digo, thank you very much for your time. I noticed that you use my full name there, Lukolo. Well, it's very kind of you. Thank you very much, Khusela Digo, speaking for the presidency there. All right, to discuss possible candidates, and let's talk more now on this story. And I am joined by legal expert, and that's Pierre DeForce, who is live for us in Cape Town. Mr. DeForce, thank you very much for your time. Give me your sense here about, first of all, the qualities and the kind of credentials that a person who's going to be appointed to that position of NPA head has got to have. What are the prerequisite skills that that person has got to possess?
Well, there are basic formal skills that the person must have. He must have a legal degree, must be a fit and proper person with due regard to their integrity and so on. That is prescribed in the legislation. So there are basic requirements that must be met. If they're not met, the appointment will be invalid. Of course, the person will have to, if the person is going to make a success of the job, unlike many of the other people appointed before him or her, then that person will have to be fearless. The person will have to be somebody that is not going to be beholden either to politicians or to business people. And that is going to be rather difficult, because you want somebody that is, but you don't want to have somebody there that's completely politically naive and doesn't know the lay of the land. The person must make decisions based on the law, but not on politics. But you have to be aware of the politics, and that's the difficulty of this.
That's the question I was going to come to next, because I was going to ask you, what about that person's political astuteness? Is that important?
Yes, I think it is. And it's not important in the sense of making decisions that are politically driven, because you can't do that. If you do that, you're not doing your job as the head of the NPA. We know that from the judgments of the Constitutional Court. You have to be independent. But you have to be a little bit astute in managing the situation and making sure that you firstly, you have to manage the people in your office. And there's a lot of problems within the office of the National Director that will have to be solved and will have to be cleaned up, because that office is not working as it should work. And then you have to manage the other stakeholders, and you have to be able to resist them without exposing yourself to political attacks that is going to harm your credibility. Because as soon as you start going after powerful people, they will come after you and they will try and discredit you. And if you're not politically astute, that is going to be a problem.
In February, the president, he made it clear that he wants to strengthen the NPA, but also importantly, shield it, and I'm using his words here, shield it from external interference and manipulation. If someone like Vusi Pikoli had been an eligible candidate, he's now ruled himself out. He tweeted last night that he's thankful, but look, he does not have any intentions of going back to the NPA. Might he have been the kind of person that we're talking about here when you combine both the legal expertise and political astuteness that we speak of? And what about Thuluma Dontsela, by the way? Just throwing it out there.
Well, both of those are not going to do their job. I think they are wiser than to take on the poison chalice that is the NPA. Vusi Pikoli was actually, in my estimation, the only head of the NPA who's actually done what, in terms of the Constitution and the law, he was required to do, and that is to act in a fearless manner without any favor to anybody, regardless of their political persuasion. So I have a very high admiration for him, given the fact, though, that there was this commission of inquiry which sort of said he didn't do anything wrong, but there was some ambiguity. Maybe he would still not be the right person for the job, because people who criticize him will immediately go to the Ginwala Commission report, and they will misconstrue that report, and they will try and tarnish his name. So you really need somebody different, I think, for the position, other than Vusi Pikoli.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed for giving us your thoughts on this matter. That's legal expert Pierre Defoes coming to us live from Cape Town via Skype, in fact. Well,